welcome to my talk on TikTok because, well, some of you may have noticed that cosplay is super popular on TikTok, but it's become like really oversaturated with cosplayers. Unfortunately, it's no longer good enough just to be a fantastic cosplayer. You really have to put in that extra little bit of effort. So I've got 5 tips for you to make that happen. Tip number 1, background and lighting. These are essential to a good video. A good lighting setup allows your audience to fully appreciate your costume and all the effort that you've put into it. It also makes it look a lot more professional and put together. If you have the money, I highly recommend investing into a ring light. They can usually be found on Amazon. If you don't have that kind of money to invest, you can also buy a smaller ring light. These go for about $20 on Amazon, and they're just so helpful. I will usually use 1 or 2 of these, and they even come with a nice little phone stand for you to film from. The second part was background. So you want a nice, clean background that is void of any distractions because you want your audience to be focused on you, the character. I have on my wall here different colored bed sheets. So I've got like black and blue and red and white, I think. And they're just really easy to find at like a local thrift store. You can find them usually for like $2-3 each and just hang them up on your wall. And they make amazing backdrops, especially if you add like maybe some fairy lights or something for a little bit of atmospheric effect. It's perfect. Otherwise, if you don't have just a straight background, it can actually work really well if you interact with your background. So say you're in a living room or you're in a kitchen, then making your video more dynamic could have some appeal to it. Ideally though, you want a reason for that background to be there. Otherwise, it's just going to be a distraction. Tip number 2, choosing your character. This is where you gotta decide if you wanna do some more popular characters or some less popular characters. There's definitely benefits and cons to both of them. Choosing a more popular character, you're gonna have a much larger audience. However, you're then going to be competing with all the other cosplayers in the fandom. So you're either going to want to have a really top tier cosplay or an original twist or a funny factor to get those views. On the other hand, you can do a less popular cosplay, maybe a OC or a webtoon comic. Initially, I found these to be a lot more troublesome to get views on. However, you sometimes do hit the jackpot and there will then be a huge demand for you to do this character because they can't be found anywhere else. So going for the less popular characters is a little bit of a hit and miss, but it can definitely pan out in the long run. Tip number 3, acting and facial expressions. So TikTok is an app that for the most part, we're gonna be filming from like our lower stomach up to our head. That means that our audience is going to be very focused in on our face and our facial expressions. So, no matter how good your cosplay may be, you also need to focus on embodying the character and your acting skills. When filming a TikTok, you need to consider how your character might act. So, are they really aggressive? Are they going to be staring directly at the camera and not blinking? Are they a little more shy, maybe not always looking directly at the camera? Do they fidget a lot? Are they a little bit crazy, maybe like do weird things with their mouth? These are all things you need to consider, and then you need to accentuate those personality traits when filming. This is honestly the part that causes me to take multiple takes of a video. It may not seem like it, but your audience is definitely going to notice those little changes and extra work that you put in. Step number 4. Making a story with your video and your caption. Generally, people on TikTok have really short attention spans, so you want to hook them as fast as possible. And you can either do that by the first 2 to 3 seconds being really intriguing, or having an intriguing caption that is going to make them wait for the end. Some really good examples to do this for cosplay specific things is makeup tutorials or whip posts. So you can either have yourself getting into cosplay, removing your cosplay, or the crafting process of a upcoming project that you're working on. Alternatively, when filming actually in cosplay, it's really helpful to have a little indication of what the story might be about in the caption, or have text bubbles in your video to capture their interest and make them read and want to continue. Tip number 5, and this is one of my personal favorites, is to make the cosplay your own. We see 100 Dekus and 1,000 Narutos and like 29 different Keiths and Voltron and all of them, but they haven't seen your cosplay yet. So do your own twist. Make it an AU, make it a gender bend, make him an e-boy. Play with it and have fun, and then people will come back for your version of the character. And that's all I've got for you right now. So happy TikToking. Let's take over this app with our cosplays as we are already doing, and it's been fantastic. Yeah. Until next time, goodbye.